did manage to trade off the dark square bishops on the g5 square. And also he already has the f5, e4 structure on the king side, which is very, very nice. But Hikaru managed to get the queen side advance that white is aiming for. And the knight on g7 is a bit misplaced. If black had two active knights here, I think I would be very happy picking black. But with the knight on g7 kind of lacking for moves a little bit, I'm not sure who is better. Because I want to play knight e5 and just completely ignore the center and give mate, but I think I would need more active pieces than I actually have here with black for that to happen. What do you think? How would you react to knight e5?
No idea.
Like there is knight b5, knight takes d6, at least white can try knight b5 and knight takes d6. There's also c6 as a possible move, trying to create a very far progressed passed pawn. And let's explain why taking on c5 twice is impossible. That's kind of relevant here. I think maybe saying it's impossible is a bit.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because I have moves like this.
Yeah, we can play rook d3, but I guess white is still better because there's a passer you can use, like rook c7.
Yeah, this knight is a little far away from the action.
Yeah, you need to start bringing it in. What you're drawing is very, very relevant. It's probably the best chance black has. But here d6, queen b3 is like you can no longer play knight h4 because white actually gives mate with checks. Queen b3, queen c3, queen g7 mate is... It happens faster than you think.
Yeah, the black king is too open. This doesn't work.
I don't think this will work out. Black is too far away from creating any actual threat.
So what else can Maxime do? Queen f6, knight b5 does not help.
No, it doesn't. No, I think you kind of need to go all in somehow here. Let's look at knight e5, because if knight b5, maybe I can go rook a2 and rook d2, maybe in some positions. C takes d6 doesn't really worry me a great deal. I'm a lot more worried about c6 or knight takes d6, one of those two.
I'm wondering if I can spend a move, but you can maybe just go rook a8.
Rook a8 or maybe f4, f3 will become a topic of conversation there. Takes f4, maybe even immediately. You might have to play f3. But then knight f5, knight e3. This looks
horrible.
Yeah. No, it's a very, very big mistake to underestimate just... And knight e5 actually is on the board, so I was correct in what Maxime would be leaning towards in these types of positions. And I also want to mention that the knight on c3 is kind of important because for the time being it stops f5, f4. So let's try c6. But the drawback of c6 is that it doesn't really require an immediate reaction, maybe. So you can try something like knight h5, maybe.
I was wondering about this.
Yeah, I think I would be, if not for the fact that my queen side is dead, I would be quite happy with this structure change with black, because knight d3 is now a move you constantly have to calculate. Knight b5 rook h3 might win. That's a nice geometrical idea. Yeah, followed by knight f3 check and sudden mate on the other side of the board. No, this is...
What's going on here if I start with
this is the question. This is what they both, I think, will be trying to figure out. If black is in time with his definite counterplay on the king side here to play against the c pawn. But here, I mean, if we're extremely unhappy with black, we can slow down and play something like rook c8, knight b5.
I was wondering if this rook h3 business still makes sense. It's a weird position.
But here I can play king h1, because in the other game, in the other position, I was hoping to go rook takes h2 here.
I was still hoping to.
Well, but here after knight g4, I will snap. Oh no, you can. Here I have king h3, and if you start with queen h4, then I will take on g4, because it's important that you have no queen f4 check in this position, and this looks winning for white. Does it? Not so sure. Yeah, but probably does. Yeah, and fg3 now to rub it in a little bit.
This is funny because black doesn't have a square.
Yeah.
g7, knight f5. If you take, this is check, and king f7, fg. It's a bit of a problem because we're pinned.
Yeah, you would like to take with the f pawn, but it's not allowed by the laws of chess, which is a drawback.
Not forced, but just to show there is
nowhere near
stuff.
forced, of course. Yeah, but
bubbling.
The game really is sharpening up today. This one, and also The Giri Anand game progressed towards
pessimism. 5 well-played draws, some nice theoretical discussions. Both sides shake hands without a single mistake. It's my type of chess. But no luck today. These combative players, Naidorf, weird opening ideas, sacrificing exchange by Levon Aronian. I would not stand for it. And
not at all forced. You have other options available to you, but the eye is sort of drawn to it because you need to improve more of your pieces. You're kind of the rook on a3 is very nice. The knight on e5 is fantastic. The queen on g5 is where it should be, but you're still somewhat stuck as to how to develop your initiative further here with black. And the knight on g7 needs to join the action somehow.
We're being informed that lavender, I forgot the pronunciation already, is pale purple, while Anish's is bold purple. Thanks, Danger Mao. So what's going on here?
I still like knight h5. I'm not sure if it works, but I would like to make that move here.
Very natural.
I can't really,
what else you do with it?
Yeah, I can't really find anything else that even remotely appeals. You can play something like rook c8, trying to bait white into taking on b7, but you just play b5 and...
Also after knight b5, how confident are you that all your counterplay will win?
That's a very good point. I mean, with the pawn already on c6, you really need to be very, very certain you will be in time. And with the bishop still alive on e2, that's actually a second reason why you want to play knight h5. Because the bishop on e2 makes a very, very good job of protecting potential danger squares like f2 and f3 and g4. Yeah, I think knight h5 is a very, very serious front runner here for black's next option.
Mr. Self-Defeat says Levon Aronian has the best style in his opinion. Yeah, he has his own style for sure. Also very bright shirt colors. A lot of lime green.
Yeah.
Where's the knuckle cap? Here it is.
Yeah, MVL is not there, but he will take with the pawn, and then Hikaru will start thinking, because he is making a tremendous amount of progress on the queen side, but he needs to be sure he controls the counterplay correctly. But yeah, this is the important question of the day. Very well, it's an extremely sharp position there. Yeah, of the two options, Gabedi, working out or starving, I think working out is more likely. Knowing blood, as I do.
You don't think he's starving?
No.
Hikaru also not starving. Has an energy drink there. Right at the board. Must be nice.
Knight d8, rook c8 already on the board. So.
Looks like Levon will think of it, so we can do a brief round.
Yeah, but there's this mess in Nakamura MVL, which I would hesitate to evaluate, and in every single other position it seems like white is doing very, very well. Anish is better, we think Lev is better, and Lev has already taken on b6. He is playing this extremely fast. I quite like Hikaru's king h1 choice, sidestepping all the tactics we were discussing, but he still needs to do something about the threat of knight g4.
Fresh tactic.
Yeah. Now, for him, the situation is quite clear. He knows that if he stabilizes and doesn't allow anything on the king side, he will probably win, because the passer on c6 will decide any endgame, pretty much. But endgame is still some way away yet. And yeah, he needs to be very precise here. It's moved 25, and they're both down to around 28, 26 minutes. Probably will be an interesting time trouble as well, but... difficult position to understand. I've been looking at this on and off for a while. I don't really understand what white's next move is, even. Rook c2 maybe to overprotect the f2 pawn, but it looks extremely slow.
Queen d2, you go f4, yeah?
Yeah, f4, f3 is a very serious idea as well. It's probably also a very serious idea after rook c2. So I'm not sure why it would be. Oh. Yeah, that's a very strong argument in favor of queen d2, actually. But hang on a second, f4, knight e4, knight g4? That's mate, right?
That's a very strong argument against queen d2.
Well, it would be still true with the queen on d2 and the rook on, with the queen on d1 and the rook on c2 would be exactly the same. That's just mate in 3.
That's a problem.
That is a bit of a problem. No, this rook on a3, it's very easy to forget it's there, but once it actually is included in the attack, it often will be the finishing touch that black needs here.
Let's briefly
Be winning, but chat is of the impression that there is nothing really happening on the king side, and Hikaru is winning. So, and I assume chat is using Silicon Intelligence. I guess f3 queen takes e4. I thought f3 was very strong, but just queen e4, fg, queen g2, I guess. And we've stabilized.
Yep.
12 minutes for Maxime against 23 for Hikaru for 12 moves in a very sharp position. And as we mentioned many a time early in the broadcast, black is all in on this mating attack because the queen side is ruined and the pawn on c6 is just too strong. And also now the center is ruined, so if you just start going back, the pawn on e4 will be picked up. And you know, everything will start falling down. But seemingly there is no mate. Not that I can see anyway.
Not even a trick then, no? Three,
Currently struggling to find a trick, yeah.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
Takes.
You can play king h8 here, but white isn't even forced to take. But it might win anyway, like hg, rook g8, cb7, something. Or c7, yeah, whichever one you prefer for taste reasons more than anything else.
Yeah, this doesn't look like.
I kind of wanted to avoid rook 8, which is why I was arguing for the other thing. But yeah, probably both win. And yeah, seems like black achieved more or less everything he could have hoped to achieve on the king side, and white is still in control. And notice how the knight is still on c3. This is very impressive by Hikaru. Because that knight had many an opportunity to, like knight b5 on many moves, and knight takes e4 as well. I mean, not here where it would probably blunder mate in 3, but earlier there was a number of opportunities for white to play knight b5. And Hikaru very early on realized that this knight controls the rook on a3 and also keeps the e4 pawn in check. So the knight just stays there. It's not moving.
Yep, Hikaru in good shape, Anish.
I just couldn't see what his next move was after that. Maybe he wants to go f3 here. This might be the idea. Hg f2. And I guess if we take the knight here, he just wants to go hg, hg, and then play g3 next move against anything.
G3, fg.
The same issue again. Yeah. Like c takes b7 or something. Yeah. No, but maybe ef2 and g3 is a threat then. But this is why we're taking on b7, to have rook takes f4 there. And Hikaru immediately snaps hg4, hg on the board, and I think cb7 is very likely to be a move here.
You think this works?
Yeah. I've only just realized just how crazy this is, but it might actually work.
Yeah, I can't refute it, but you gotta be.
I somehow assumed it was check. I just thought you have to take. This is completely lost. But yeah, I just didn't realize queen h2 check was still a move you can make. But I think I actually ran away there. Yeah, this is dead. But rook a1. But yeah, something will be queen a7 check.
Beautiful.
Actually, king g6 and king game actually very much continues. Yeah, too funny for words.
Probably.
No,
we
but
can
here,
do better here.
Yeah, there has to be something here. Yeah, probably queen c7 just gives mate here. Yeah.
Yep. So hg is on the board.
And I mean, the other move you would maybe want to make here is knight e4. With similar ideas of controlling the g3 square, which I think is why Hikaru is thinking, because generally I think cb7 is a very, very attractive option here. Because you need to start making even more progress on the queen side here. But maybe knight e4 is also winning.
And
it's progressing exactly along the lines that we were discussing earlier, and our thinking was that there aren't enough checks. I think the king runs to d3 and the checks run out. That was my impression, like queen g2, king d3, or frankly anywhere, but in particular queen g2, king d3. No more checks, and if there's no more checks, then white will start giving checks, and then, oh yeah, actually the score sheets are already signed.
Maxime resigned yet? It didn't quite work.
Yeah.
So Hikaru continues with a strong outing, moves to +2 in the tournament, 3 out of 4.
Yeah, an early front runner for the lead after. I think we expect him now to be the sole leader after round 4 because Vladi is
not going to win.
Yeah, he's in trouble against Fabiano. He might not lose, but I think if he wins, it's only after a blunder of some sort.